Dielectric breakdown. So generally what is breakdown? If a system is not doing its function, then we call it as a breakdown. What is dielectric breakdown? If the dielectric is not doing its function, we call it as dielectric breakdown. So what is the function of a dielectric material? The first function, it is going to prevent the flow of current through it, and of course it is going to store electrical charges. So if the dielectric material is going to allow large current to flow through it, then that is what is called dielectric breakdown. Okay, so when that will occur, when large current will flow through it, we know that we apply an electric field. So if the applied electric field is going to exceed a critical value, then a large current will flow through the dielectric material. So when we say large current flows through it, it means that the dielectric is going to lose its insulation property and it is going to behave like a conductor. So this phenomenon is what is called dielectric breakdown. Dielectric strength. It is the electric field strength at which breakdown occurs. So in general, we say electric field is nothing but voltage by distance. So what is the voltage here? Breakdown voltage. What is the distance here? Thickness of the dielectric. So the electric field strength at which breakdown occurs, in other words, that is what is called dielectric strength, is equal to voltage by distance or dielectric breakdown voltage by thickness of the dielectric. So what are the different types of dielectric breakdown? Intrinsic breakdown and avalanche breakdown, thermal breakdown, chemical and electrochemical breakdown, discharge breakdown. The last one is defect breakdown. Let us see one by one. First one is intrinsic breakdown. As the name implies, when we say intrinsic, it purely depends upon the dielectric material. Okay, so we take a dielectric material and we just connect a battery across the parallel plates of a capacitor. So we know that an electric field is generated. Suppose this electric field that is generated is going to exceed a critical value, then there is going to be breakdown, meaning a large current will flow through it. So how that breakdown occurs? Some of the electrons in the valence band cross over to the conduction band across the large forbidden energy gap. So once electrons cross over from valence band to conduction band, they are available in conduction band, hence they are free to conduct current. Thus, they produce large conduction current. So this type of breakdown is what is called intrinsic breakdown. So if the applied electric field is going to exceed a critical value, then the valence electrons go to the conduction band where they are free to conduct current. Thus, a large current flows through the dielectric, which means a breakdown occurs, and that breakdown is what is called intrinsic breakdown. What is this avalanche breakdown? When we say avalanche, it is nothing but multiplication. So, multiplication of electron occurs here. So, what is happening here? So, we know that when the applied electric field is going to exceed a critical value, the conduction electrons, they are accelerated to very high velocity. So with that very high energy, it is going to colloid with the valence electrons in the covalent bond. So once they colloid with the valence electrons in the covalent bond, the covalent bonds will be broken and the electrons, they will be left free. Okay, so those valence electrons, on occurring this energy, they jump from valence band to conduction band. This process continues as more and more valence electrons jump to the conduction band by breaking the covalent bond. So large current flows through the dielectric material and breakdown occurs. So this is what is called avalanche breakdown. As I told, avalanche is nothing but multiplication of electrons. So how it occurs? When the electric field is going to be greater than the critical value, the valence electrons jump to the conduction band, and those conduction band electrons will have very high velocity. With that high velocity, it is going to hit the covalent bond. So covalent bonds will be broken, electrons will be left free. In that way, we have multiplication of electrons. So many electrons are left free, so they are free to conduct current. This type of breakdown is what is called avalanche breakdown. What are the characteristics of intrinsic and avalanche breakdown? So first characteristic, we know that they require a large electric field. Maybe the field that must be greater than some particular or a critical value. And they occur at low temperature. Low temperature, when we say lower temperature, as well as it occurs at room temperature. Okay. Next one, they do not depend on the size and shape of the sample and configuration of the electrodes. They can occur in thin samples. They can occur in thin samples. They occur within a short span of time. Within microseconds, this breakdown will occur. Next one, thermal breakdown. So thermal, when we say, it is nothing but heat. So when we apply an electric field to a dielectric material, some amount of heat is produced. This heat must be dissipated from the material. In some cases, amount of heat produced is very large as compared to the heat dissipated. So because amount of heat produced is large and amount of heat dissipated is less, inside the dielectric material, the temperature is going to increase. So at a particular portion alone, there is going to be local melting. Local melting in the dielectric material occurs because heat production is more than the heat dissipation. Okay. So in a small area, there is going to be melting occurs. So when we say melting is going to occur, it means that it is no longer behaving like a perfect dielectric, because at some portion there is going to be a melt. So it is no longer a perfect dielectric, because of which a large amount of current flows through the material and the dielectric is going to break down. So this type of breakdown is known as thermal breakdown. So when the temperature is high, when the heat production is high than the heat dissipation, inside the dielectric material, the temperature rises there. Because of that, local melting occurs. Since local melting occurs, it will not behave like a perfect dielectric. So in that local melting area, the large current will flow through it. So this type of breakdown is what is called thermal breakdown. The characteristics of thermal breakdown are, it occurs at high temperatures. The strength of the electric field to create a dielectric breakdown depends on the size and shape of the dielectric sample. The breakdown time is of the order of few milliseconds, and this requires moderate electric fields. Third one is chemical and electrochemical breakdown. So this electrochemical breakdown is quite similar to thermal breakdown. So what is thermal breakdown? We know if the temperature of the dielectric material is more, then breakdown occurs. Here also, when the temperature of a dielectric material increases, mobility of the ions increases. So since mobility of ions, movement of ions is going to be more, some electrochemical reaction will take place. So because of some chemical or electrochemical reaction that is occurring inside the dielectric material, that will lead to some leakage current. So once some electrochemical reaction occurs, it will not behave like a perfect dielectric. So breakdown will occur, current will flow through it. This type of breakdown is what is called chemical and electrochemical breakdown. It occurs only at low temperatures. It depends on the concentration of ions and the magnitude of leakage current. Next one is discharge breakdown. So discharge breakdown occurs when a dielectric material contains occluded gas bubbles. Actually, if we take a glass bottle, at the corners we will be seeing some dots. In few glass bottles, we may observe a small, bubble like inside the glass. So that is what is called occluded gas bubbles. So if those gas bubbles are present in a dielectric material, then through that also there will be a current flow and breakdown occurs. So what will happen is, that is nothing but gas bubbles. So when we apply an electric field to the dielectric material, the gases present in the material will get ionized. So because the gas molecules or atoms, they get ionized, they produce large ionization current. So those gaseous ions bombard the solid dielectric. This causes electrical deterioration and leads to dielectric breakdown. So this is what is called discharge breakdown. So discharge breakdown will occur only when the dielectric contains occluded gas bubbles. So if we have gas bubbles and when we apply electric field, the gas molecules or atoms get ionized. So those ionized gas will bombard with the solid dielectric. So electrons will come out of it. Once electrons come out, they will go to conduction band where they are free to conduct current. So the breakdown occurs because current flows. This is what is called discharge breakdown. The characteristics of discharge breakdown: it occurs at low voltages. It occurs in the dielectric material where there are a large number of occluded gas bubbles. When discharge takes place at a point, the surrounding places are burnt and hence their electrical properties are affected. Thus, the life of an insulating material depends upon the number of discharges which are taking place inside the material. That is, it depends upon the frequency of the applied voltage. The last one is defect breakdown. So, if we take a dielectric material, there may be some defects which will be present in the dielectric materials, like there can be cracks or some pores or blowholes. So what will happen if we have those defects? Impurities like dust or moisture may collect at these defects. So they will no longer behave like a perfect dielectric because there are some impurities which are present in all those cracks or pores or blowholes. So since it is not a perfect dielectric, current may flow through it. This will lead to a breakdown. So this is what is called defect breakdown. Now, what are the remedies for dielectric breakdown? So, to avoid breakdown, the insulating material should have the following properties. First one, it should have high resistivity to reduce leakage current. It should have high dielectric strength to withstand the high voltage. Then it should have dielectric loss. It should have sufficient mechanical strength. It should be resistant to oil, liquid, gas fumes, acid, alkalis. Then it should have small thermal expansion to prevent mechanical damage. It should be fireproof.